Hi guys, welcome to GOO ROO Beauty. Wanted to share with you today my everyday MAC eyeshadow palette. I have posted pictures of this to Instagram and been asked quite a bit for a video on that. So I am cheating a little bit because I do also have an everyday MAC quad that I like to use. So I'll share with you what's in my everyday MAC eyeshadow palettes. So this quad is one that I got quite a while ago. Actually, the only eyeshadow in this palette that is not MAC is this one here. It's an Inglot Matte 351 shadow. Everything else is MAC. I use this one to take with me because this is a great everyday eye. It's also got the highlight, which I can use every single day. It's got MAC Carbon, which is the black. It's not the blackest, richest black by any means, but it's MAC's black, and that is carbon. You can use that as a liner or to blend out an outer crease to really dramatize up a look. I've also got MAC Omega here. That is nice if I really want a very subtle brow. It's perfect for blonde eyebrows. And then the fourth shade in this quad is Charcoal Brown, and that is what I have in my brows today. It's a perfect match for a nice natural brow. I can also use it all over my lid. I can use it in my crease with a nice lighter color. Really nice subtle natural eye with Omega all over the lid and Charcoal Brown in the crease, and then Carbon as a liner. This is just a nice versatile quad for me. I can use it as liner, highlight, brows, everyday eye, that kind of thing. So I keep it all in this handy little quad. Now, as far as my everyday MAC palette, I do have them separated into more browns, more blues, more colourful shades, but these are the ones that are the most reach to shades for me. Now, MAC do make their own palettes for their refill pans. I haven't got my everyday MAC shadows in a MAC palette because traditionally they come with a black lid that you can't see through. So I stocked up on Z palettes, which are made of sort of sturdy cardboard, but what I love about Z palettes is that they've got a see-through lid. MAC has come out recently in the last probably 6 months with their own new palettes, which do now have a see-through lid. They would be sturdier, I would say, than the Z palette, which is actually a flimsier plastic and, as I say, a sturdy cardboard, but nonetheless these do get some wear and tear. So I would recommend probably the MAC ones without actually using them yet, but I really like the Z palettes as well. These are probably a less expensive option, but if I can, I'll post links to all of that information down below. So my Z palette actually fits 27 MAC eyeshadows in it, and I wanted to label them all. So I just used some little round white stickers. I've stuck those stickers on top of each shadow with the name of the shadow, so that if I'm doing a look, if I'm copying a look, if I'm redoing something that I've seen on YouTube or on a blog, I can easily go straight to that color. The only thing about that is that you can peel them off and obviously re-stick another sticker if you move them around, but it's not easily changed. So I like this system for me as long as I don't move the colors around too much. So I'll basically just sort of show you what shades I have in this palette from the top row across. So this one here is MAC Vanilla. It's a beautiful everyday white, off-white. I'll use that all over the lid. I'll use it as a highlight. I'll use it as a all over the eye product before I actually start putting any color down. It's a really nice versatile shade. I would say that it's dupeable though, but it was my very first MAC eyeshadow, so I have a special spot for it. Next one across is Shroom. Shroom is a gorgeous eyeshadow. It's got a lovely sheen to it. It's almost like a very slight gray tinged beige to a nice light shadow base. I love this all over the lid. It does also make a very nice highlight. I love Shroom, it's beautiful. Next one along is Nylon. Nylon can be used as a dramatic highlight. It's definitely a gold or yellow tinged highlight and beautiful in the inner corner, beautiful all over the lid if you want that gold tinged, really light color that's going to make your lid pop. Next one along is my favorite for the crease and as a transition color. This is Soft Brown. I am wearing soft brown in the upper crease area today. It's just a really nice transition. If you're doing a really bright blue eye, if you're doing a really nice natural eye, anything in between, even a really dramatic smoky eye, soft brown is always going to be a beautiful transition shade. On a really natural daytime look, it's beautiful on its own in the crease over, say, vanilla on your lid. Love soft brown a lot. Next one along is Rule, and Rule is a beautiful shade for just warming up the crease. If you've got a really nice purple lid, for example, or even just a really smoky brown, you can really warm up that outer crease with Rule. That's what I like to use that one for. Cranberry is a gorgeous shade here. It's a shimmery sort of burgundy berry shade. It goes beautiful on the lid. It looks beautiful in the outer crease. It does definitely have a sheen to it. So if you like an all matte look, Cranberry may not be the best choice for you, but I'm really looking forward to using this as we head more into the fall and the winter. It just adds a real richness to the eye. It's a beautiful shade. Moving on to the second row, we have Ricepaper, and Ricepaper is similar to Shroom for me in that it's just a beautiful sheen on the eye. It's got a gold tinge to it. I really like that one all over the lid or as a highlight. Then we've got sort of a pinkier version of that with Naked Lunch. This was one of my early MAC shadows that I bought as well. Naked Lunch is beautiful all over the lid. It just adds a bit of a gleam, and if you don't want the gold but you want more of sort of a natural skin tone, if you've got my sort of colouring, Naked Lunch is a beautiful shade for all over the lid. Next one along is All That Glitters. Again, another lovely sort of shimmery highlight shade, beautiful on the lid or as a highlight. And then we've got Bronze, and Bronze is a shimmery, lovely bronze shade. It's quite similar to MAC Woodwinked, which is one of my favourites of all time. I like Bronze quite a lot for sort of the outer half of the lid, also into the crease as well as under the eye. It's a really pretty shade. Along the same lines as Cranberry, we've got Antiqued and Coppering. They are both quite shimmery, and you can see they're just beautiful sort of fall shades when you really want to warm up a look. So these look lovely also on the outer half of the lid, going up into the crease to really warm up a look. Both beautiful all over the lid as well as underneath. You can really do a lot with these lovely rich shades. And then on the very end there is a nice warm matte. This one is Folie, and Folie I'm actually wearing in the outer crease today. So I've got Woodwinked on the lid, Folie in the outer V kind of area, and Soft Brown as a transition with Carbon as a liner today. That's what I've got on my eye, but love Folie. It's a beautiful warm matte, perfect for the crease in combination with really any of these sort of highlighty shades or warm shades in the outer corner. Next row along, we've got Woodwinked. This is one of my favorite MAC eyeshadows. If you have not got a MAC eyeshadow and you're sort of thinking about maybe asking one for a gift or buying one and you're not sure where to start, Woodwinked is definitely the one that I would recommend. I am wearing it all over my lid today. Tanya Burr does quite a few looks with Woodwinked all over the eye. Absolutely gorgeous. She did one years ago on a Megan Fox look and I loved it. It looks beautiful on her. Woodwinked is one of those shades that just has enough impact on its own. It's got just enough shimmer to really make it look like something special on the lid, but not that you try too hard. You could just do Woodwinked all over your lid, blend it out into the crease, and it looks beautiful all on its own. I love Woodwinked, it's gorgeous. Next one along is Satin Taupe, and from what I can tell, this is one of MAC's best sellers. It's one of those shimmery, grayish, silvery, purplish type taupes. It pulls different on everyone. I really like using Woodwinked on the lid and then Satin Taupe on the outer half. They're just beautiful, subtle shades, same kind of finish, really gorgeous. Satin Taupe also looks beautiful just all over the lid on its own. If you want a cooler version, this one is another one of those that would look beautiful on its own, all over the lid, blended out for a beautiful daytime look. Also for a really nice shimmery, smoky eye, this one is beautiful. Next one along is Wedge. Wedge is one of those shades that is also very nice in the brows because it does have a cool tone to it. A lot of people with a medium brunette brow like to use Wedge. Wedge is also like Soft Brown in that it's beautiful for a transition in the crease. A really nice versatile shade. You can wear that for a subtle smoky eye all over the lid or just in the crease, as I say, or as a transition color. And also Cork. Cork would be similar as well. Cork is a lovely shade for in the crease. Moving out to the last three shades of this row, we've got Espresso. Espresso is a matte, cool toned brown, really nice for a smoky eye. Again, you can use this as a lovely brown liner both above and the lower lash line. Really nice in the outer V or to give you a little bit more drama to the crease area. Next one is another one of my favorites. This is Sumptuous Olive, and it's a shimmery sort of khaki olive green. Absolutely beautiful. I like this all over the lid. I also like it in the outer half. Just gorgeous. And then this one used to be quite sort of unique to MAC, but there have been a few dupes that have come out from different brands, including Wet n Wild in the Comfort Zone palette. This is the shade Club. Club is a shade that has like a red toned brown undertone, but it's got these beautiful sort of green duochrome effects on it. It looks gorgeous on the lid on its own. It looks gorgeous blended out. That warmth from that warm red brown comes out as you blend it out. You can pack it on over a black base to really get that dramatic duochrome. I love Club. I don't use it enough, but every time I use it, I absolutely adore it. Go and check out Club if you haven't seen it yet. It's beautiful. Now looking at the last row, we have Patina. Patina is a beautiful shade in that it's kind of like Shroom in that it's got a beautiful luster, beautiful shimmer finish, but it's just got a really sort of cool toned gold to it. Gorgeous on the lid for a subtle daytime effect. Moving on to Sable. Sable is a beautiful sort of mid-toned warm shade. I love this one on its own on the lid or in the outer half for a nice subtle effect. Then we've got Copperplate. I love Copperplate for a few things. I love Copperplate for blending out a black kohl liner. Copperplate is this beautiful sort of grey tone that just looks beautiful on the eye. It doesn't look like much in the pan. It is a matte, but it's just gorgeous as well all over the lid. Gorgeous in a smoky eye, and then you can obviously use that with a shade like Vanilla all over the lid, and then use that Copperplate as a beautiful sort of grayish brown. It looks beautiful with blue eyes, beautiful with brown eyes. Love it a lot. Next shade along is Concrete. Concrete and Copperplate are kind of quite similar. Concrete, I would say, just has a little bit more brown to it, but I use it for all the same things that I really like Copperplate for. Then we've got Handwritten. Handwritten reminds me of a browner version of Folie. It is matte. I like it quite a lot in the crease. I like it on the lower lash line. It's a really lovely warm matte. And then the last two shades, we've got Smut here. Smut is beautiful for defining the outer V into the crease. It's also nice for lining, a really nice shade. And then the very last shade that we have here is Print. Print is beautiful when you want a grey smoky eye, much like Copperplate, but it's just darker. So when you want to define something and you don't want to do it with a black, maybe you're doing it in the daytime, maybe you just want a more subtle effect, under the lash line, it's beautiful. Print is a lovely dark matte grey. I love it. So you can see from my everyday palette here, I have a combination of finishes. I think it's really important to remember not only the shade, the color, the tone of an eyeshadow, but think about the interplay between shimmer and matte. You've got pearl and satin finishes, really glittery finishes, and then you've got mattes, and they all play together quite nicely. The end effect on an eye really does depend quite heavily on the finishes that you're using as well. So I intentionally have a mixture of shimmers and satin, and then also mattes. I really do like a shimmery lid and then more of a matte shade in the crease and the outer V. I usually really like a matte highlight, but every so often something like Shroom is beautiful, just subtly on the brow bone. I like a shimmer or a matte in the inner corner, so you can see I've just got a combination there. And then I really like these warm shades that look scary in the pan, just like a really dramatic blush. Don't be scared of these dramatic shades. It's all how you apply it. A fluffy brush is just going to add it very subtly where you want to add warmth. You don't have to have a big bright orange eye to use that one. It can be virtually undetectable, just adding a little bit of warmth to the area that you want. So think about that if you're designing an everyday palette. I love these shades from MAC. I think you really can't go past them. There are other brands of eyeshadows that I love. MAC is just beautiful. It's a universal language here on YouTube, so I would recommend that you do look at MAC eyeshadows, but there are plenty of other eyeshadows that are more affordable that you can use to copy different looks as well. So it can set you back a bit. And I think in Australia now you can get the refill pans now online. They usually sell them in individual clam pots, but there's a whole lot of wastage if you're going to bother depotting them and putting them into a palette. And if you do like a particular shade, do look online at maccosmetics.com.au and see if you can get the refill pan. They are often out of stock. That is one of the shortcomings of the MAC website, unfortunately. But if you do have any questions for me or any favorite combinations of MAC eyeshadows. I would love to hear from you. I love recreating other people's favorite looks, so let me know about that. I hope that you enjoyed looking at my everyday MAC eyeshadow palette today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day and we'll see you again really soon. Bye.